on easy mode because the point is so you can experience Kingdom Hearts, not to test my skills.
I gotcha. Yeah, because I have seen a little bit of Kingdom Hearts. I've seen play footage of it all the time, but it'd be interesting to actually watch.
See what the context.
Yeah, exactly. See everything. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, we're live. How's it going?
What's going on?
We'll be starting our review on Chicken Run very soon. I am curious what this guy's thoughts are, but I don't know yet.
Desperately plans are bad.
I need to close.
Whoa! Okay, that's colorful.
Yeah, I found out something about Audacity, and I don't know how to use it yet.
Okay.
So, ignore that little thing.
Sorry, it's kind of hard to not.
I understand. I understand
completely. The ADD kicked in. It's like, ooh, color.
I understand. Wait, why am I not saying? Oh, there it goes.
Wow. What the heck?
Spectrogram.
Okay.
So now you can see how everything lines up.
Interesting. Okay.
I have no idea what the spectrogram does, and I have no idea how to read it, but it's there.
Okay.
For those who want, I guess if you want it. I know the waveform. That's what I'm going to stick with the waveform.
Yeah, let's stick with the waveform.
Stick with what we know.
Exactly.
Anyway.
All right, guys, we'll get started in a couple of minutes. And so if you have seen Chicken Run, comment down below and let us know what you think of Chicken Run, and we'll talk about it on the show. We'll mention it. I know one I'm going to mention in a little bit. But yeah.
You're going to mention what here in a little bit?
Comments about Chicken Run.
You have comments about Chicken Run.
I have a comment about Chicken Run.
I would hope after watching the movie you have a comment about Chicken Run.
No, I've people's comments about Chicken Run. Yes. Post.
So yeah, I have a lot of trivia for Chicken Run.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. And it's because the summary is surprisingly short for this one.
Gotcha.
Josh has joined us, and he says that he hasn't seen the movie since it came out on VHS.
Wow. Okay. There was VHS in 2000, so yeah.
There was still VHS, yes. DVD hadn't fully taken over the market yet because the PlayStation 2 was not out for another couple years. Yeah. We were still in the PlayStation era.
Yes. Yeah.
Though not by much.
Nope.
This wasn't far from when I got my Dreamcast. Console I still wish I had.
That I totally get.
Also, fair warning, there's only one person in the cast. Well, I take that back. There are a number of people in the cast you're going to recognize when I tell you what they played. But there's only one American in the cast.
Oh, yeah. And he's actually American.
Which is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that one joke.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's hilarious.
I don't think he's even American. Hey, PaulJPowers.com. How are you doing today?
What's up, Paul?
Chicken Run or on Star Wars Day? And the connection is, well, chickens can't actually fly and stormtroopers can't hit worth a darn. So
there we go. That's a good one. That's really good.
There's a Star Trek reference in the movie, but there's not really a Star Wars reference.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. All the people in the Empire are British, and almost everyone in this movie is British. Josh says, it's Star Wars month. This is the May. Indeed. Unfortunately, we don't have any Star Wars movies coming out this month.
No, we don't. But The Bad Batch is coming out.
Which I haven't watched yet.
Yeah.
You want to know why I haven't watched
Because
it?
it hasn't come out yet.
Oh, it's out today.
Oh,
First
okay.
episode's out today.
Oh, really?
You want to know why I didn't watch it?
Because you haven't completed Clone
I'm
Wars?
still in season 4 Clone Wars.
Hey, you're better than me. I'm barely into one. Barely into season 1.
Paul J. Powers says, yes, British Connection. And then I remember liking Chicken Run when I saw it, but not enough to want to watch it again anytime soon. That's fair. That's fair. I disagree, but that's fair. We'll be getting started here in just a second.
You devil man.
I just realized another movie I can put on the season 3 list.
Okay.
You'll see.
All right. So you ready?
I am ready. Just
All right.
close all this extraneous stuff that I don't need. Paul J. Powers says, I love the hashtag Team Womp is being represented. Boom!
Uh,
I love Francisco, don't get me wrong, but any chance I get to dig this into a site, I'm going to take. I'm sorry, Josh. I apologize. However,
oh.
there's something about his aggravation that makes me smile, and I can't tell you what it is. Yes, Josh says, boo! To which I say, shun the non-believer, shun! Paul J. Powers says, I gotta go. You have a great show, guys. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Coming in for a couple minutes.
Thanks, man.
Maybe you'll interrupt Francisco's stream while we're there.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do
Do
it.
you have a pun for me?
I think so.
All right. Because I've got one for you.
Okay.
10-1, we've stolen each other's.
Maybe.
Starting in. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who has promised a couple guys all the eggs he lays this month. Welcome, Jacob.
A promise I intend not to keep.
You intend to actually give them your eggs?
No.
You intend to lay eggs that you will refuse to give them?
No.
Then why did you say you intended not to keep it? Because technically, much like Rocky in this movie, even if you don't, since you won't lay any eggs, you did technically give them all the eggs you'll lay this month.
Well, someone else laid.
No, he didn't give any eggs.
That is true.
It was only his eggs, and
That is
oysters
true.
Don't lay eggs.
That is true.
Anyway,
Yeah, you stole my pun. Either way.
I had a feeling that
Yeah.
we stole each other.
Yeah. No, you didn't actually. Why, thank you. Let me introduce our co-host, a man who looks like he just got fired out of a cannon. Welcome, Drew.
Is this because my face is all red from laughing so hard?
Yes, exactly.
I had a feeling. So today we are going to be reviewing Chicken Run. But first, Jacob, how are you doing?
Minus cleaning all day. I've been great.
Cleaning all day.
Yeah, at work. Apparently, we have a new district director, a man I've known for many, many years. Apparently, is like
a little persnickety.
a little bit. By the way, Mitch, if you're watching this, woof. Either way, yeah, we've been cleaning for most of the week, and yeah, it's been very interesting. And plus, I'm going in at 9 o'clock in the morning, which is not bad.
I was about to say, you better not be complaining about going in at 9.
No, I'm not. But yeah, I've been doing pretty good. How about you?
I've been doing good. Did finally get my COVID shot last week. So
Yay!
I'm only halfway cured.
Vaccinated.
Cured is not the right word, but vaccinated, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cured like a ham. That's how I feel a lot of days.
No, that'd be during the summer. He'd be like nice and golden.
Give it time. This is Texas.
That is true.
It will get that hot.
Yeah, agreed.
But on the other hand, I've had a very relaxing week.
Excellent.
So I then have just one other question for you.
What's that?
What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? All right. So we watched Mortal Kombat. Yeah. Amazing movie.
Sorry.
Get over here. Or, whatever.
I just remember us sitting in here watching the movie.
Oh,
And
yes.
that moment comes up when we say, and we're both just going, say the line!
Say the line! And it was great. It was perfect. We will be reviewing that movie for the Movie of the Week podcast. And we also watched The Mitchells versus the Machines
That was,
on Netflix.
yes, and that was good.
It was very good. Go watch it. It's a lot of fun. Like I
And
just
then go listen to our reactions episode that we released just yesterday.
Yeah.
So go take a look at that.
Yeah. I would describe The Mitchells versus the Machines as downing a monster energy drink while going on the most craziest roller coaster ever. It doesn't stop.
That is true.
Yeah, it's one of those movies.
I mean, it does stop. There is
Yeah.
credits at the
Yeah,
end.
there are credits. Agreed. But other than that, I watched we also watched over at our friend Drew's Chase's. There again, I get you two mixed up all the time for some reason. When
I'm this size and this tall. He's this size and this tall.
I'm aware.
I'm just if we stood next to each other, we'd look like the number 10. Or 01, depending on which side we stand on.
Either way. So when we got finished with our Bible study, which was very short, we watched Rune Soldier.
More Louis.
More Louis and the Rune Soldiers.
Louis and the Rune Soldiers.
Yeah, tell her, I think it's the full title.
No, I think the full title is Louis the Rune
Soldier.
Soldier.
Oh, okay.
Not Louis and the Rune Soldiers. There's
Okay.
only one Rune Soldier.
Okay.
And yet we've yet to see a rune, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, that's true. Either way, I think we're on episode like 8 or 9.
I have no idea.
9 or 10, one of those. But
It's still watching that movie. Watching that television show is always against my will.
Great series. Go check it out. I don't know where you can find it legally, but
That's true.
yeah.
Google it. I'm sure you'll find it somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably, I'm going to make a wild guess. Either Sentai Filmworks or Discotech Media or Right Stuff.
Somebody's got the right to it. Somebody's got
it.
it. Either way, that is all I believe I have watched in the past week. What about you?
I've gotten farther on Avatar The Last Airbender. I just got to the episode titled The Water Scroll, where Katara steals a water scroll from pirates.
Oh, fun.
So yeah, that was interesting.
Mm.
So I'm up to that episode. For those curious, we may have to do animated series on this.
Okay.
But
I
that's
feel
in the
like
future.
I have no qualms against this.
I don't know when, because I think there's one or two things we want to do that would come in ahead of it. But
I agree. All right.
so there's that. Let's see. I can't say Falcon and Winter Soldier because that was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Amazing, by the way.
That was,
That
that
series
was a good ending. That was
Yes,
a very
it was.
good ending. Other than that, I've not really watched a whole lot. Just, what we've already talked about with, Mortal Kombat and
Crazy
Louis
Mhm.
and
The Mitchells.
and Internet Memes the movie. Much better than the Emoji Movie, I'll tell you that right
Oh my
now.
gosh.
Same production company too. That's ironic.
Don't
But
you think?
anyway,
Uh,
Josh in our chat says he's been watching ReZero and Jujutsu Kaisen. he says he also watched the Street Fighter live action movie. I'm gonna double check. Is that the one with Raul Julia in it? As
His
M.
last
Bison?
perform-
Also, he says he loves Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Ah.
I understand that. It's very good.
Ah.
Yes, that is the one. Sorry.
All right. Ever since we are recording this on May the 4th, 2021. So
We wish
May the
you all
4th.
a happy Star Wars Day.
Exactly.
And go check out our only Star Wars review, which was the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah, go check that out. And plus, I did a piece art for that, so you can go to my Facebook, my Jacob's Daily Art Corner. Go check that out.
Or if you want to be ironic, go watch our Star Trek Lower Decks episodes.
There we go.
That's reverse May the 4th, but
Yeah,
either way.
exactly. Either way.
What do we got in the news?
All right, news-wise, let's power up the Mac, because basically this is a Mac.
It's not a Mac, it's an iPad.
Same company.
It is both Apple.
Yes.
And it was, well, it wasn't, it probably was not an apple that Eve bit into.
No.
More likely a pomegranate, but it is interesting how, anyway, let's not get into that.
Yeah. All I gotta say is like, Adam, you're dropping the ball, man. Be like, you're watching your beautiful wife being seduced by a snake or whatever he was.
See, there's your problem. Snake. You shouldn't have let a snake anywhere near your wife.
Exactly. And you were right there.
Snakes are evil.
Exactly.
Or at least
They should be stumped. Or under the heel of somebody.
Now, technically, it's called a serpent.
Yeah.
Which I take as a snake.
But he walked on all fours, but then he was forced on his belly afterwards.
Which is where I think we got the idea of dragons from, if we're going to be honest.
That would be interesting.
That's my theory. I have no way of proving this, but that's my theory.
That would be kind of weird if Dragon's Head be like, hey, eat this.
Exactly.
Either way.
That being said, news.
All right. So there again, it is May the 4th. So Disney Plus is rolling out Star Wars. The new batch premieres today.
The Bad Batch, not the new batch.
The Bad Batch.
The new batch of the Bad Batch.
An elite and experimental clones of the Bad Batch, first introduced in the Star Wars animated series.
Star Wars Clone Wars, the final season, apparently.
Yes. They find their way to a changing galaxy after the events of the Clone Wars. Members of the Batch, a unique squad of clones who are very genetically from their brothers and in the clone army. Each possesses it sounds like a very interesting show. Let's say that.
Yes.
Okay. So
either way, I'm sure D. Bradley Baker is happy for the work.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we are now going to get into a bit of news, which is kind of saddening, kind of frustrating. Okay, Luca, the film that was going to come to theaters.
I feel so sorry for Pixar.
I agree. All right, so as is stated in IndieWire.com, Luca is following Soul in skipping theaters and streaming exclusively on Disney Plus this summer. Several Pixar staffers spoke anonymously to Insider to criticize Disney's decision to move the movie some of the animated studio titles exclusively to streaming platforms. Disney Plus, the first Pixar film to sidestep movie theaters, of course, was Soul. But many people believed that this was a one-time decision due to the pandemic in 2020. However, Disney announced in March that the movie Luca will also skip theaters and head directly to Disney Plus, despite theaters reopening and the market slowly coming back to life. Luca will be available on Disney Plus without the $29.99 premiere fee used by Mulan and Raya and the Last Dragon. Let me finish. Luca doesn't. This is a quote. Luca doesn't even have a premiere price next to it. One staffer told Insider. Does it make it lesser? It's hard to grasp.
Okay, so here's the thing. The last movie Disney had in theaters prior to COVID was Pixar's Onward.
Mm-hmm. Which was amazing, by the way.
Amazing movie.
We did a review.
We do need to. Well, we did a reaction. We haven't done a full review
Yeah.
of it yet, but believe me, we're going to.
Yeah, we'll get there.
And so then later on, as theaters were first just starting to finally open back up in some places,
Yes.
Disney went ahead and put out Mulan on Premier Access.
Yes.
We were both agitated, understandably.
Yes.
Especially since Disney didn't even put that Premier Access film in theaters like it would do later for Raya and the Last Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So in some ways, I think we were fairly happy that we were going to get to see Soul for just the price of Disney Plus.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and like you said, we all thought this was a one-time only thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back in, what was it, April or March, when they announced
Mhm.
that
March.
Black Widow was going to be Premier Access
Mhm.
and was getting pushed back again.
Yes.
I thought, okay, you know what? I don't like the idea that it's on Premier Access, but since like Raya and the Last Dragon, it's also going to be in theaters. It really does not affect me because I'll see it in the theater either way. But that also means it's not going to get pushed again unless just some really weird, horrible thing happens with the COVID situation that we
Mhm.
can't predict at this point. I'm not saying it can't happen. It's just, more than likely the way things are looking, well, it'll be no issue going into a movie theater to watch Black Widow when the time comes. And I guess I just did not see until last week. It didn't even occur to me that Luca was not going to be in theaters. And that's the thing. It's another Pixar movie. Now, I understand that Raya did not perform as well as it might have if it had gone straight to theaters or straight to Disney Plus without the theater thing, and there was some mixture in
Mm-hmm.
that. And maybe that's what is causing Disney's hesitation with animated movies.
Maybe.
But man, is it an interesting coincidence that
Agreed.
Soul and Luca
Mm-hmm.
back to back are getting this treatment where it's straight to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I mean, at least Onward, it came out in theaters like right before the pandemic was really shutting everything down. And they immediately, as soon as that was becoming obvious what was happening, they put it on like everything.
Yeah.
That had it wasn't Premier Access at that point, but I remember seeing it on Amazon and places like that. But then I don't understand why. I understand Soul because we didn't know. We really did not know, and Disney was playing it safe. I will give them that much of a leg up.
Mm-hmm.
But release Luca to theaters. If you're gonna release everything else, Disney,
Yeah.
in a theater, put this in a theater. Put the Premier Access on it for the poor souls who can't get out there and see it in a theater like it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us,
Yeah.
who can get out to a movie theater, put it in a movie theater.
Yeah. Please. That's all we ask.
Yeah.
I guarantee some movie theater owner is like, oh, okay, I'm gonna watch it on Disney Plus. I'm gonna screen it onto our 200-foot screen and invite people in.
Can't do that. And that's a good way to get Disney to pull to not sell you not sell the theaters the rights to their films.
Okay, well, never mind. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. Really, don't do it. Play the game correctly, please. But yeah, keep in mind did you see this the Phase 4 Marvel listing, that trailer that came out yesterday? No one wants to lose Disney right now.
No, of course not.
Not after those 6 movies were given them these states.
Yeah. All primarily within this year?
4 this year,
Mm-hmm.
I think 4 next year, and then some in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exact numbers, but
yeah, Jiminy's would be like, I watched it just the other day, and it's just like, wow, okay. And they follow everything up with the Fantastic Four logo. It's like, ah.
at this point, they're very smart about saying no. We have to finish Phase 4 with Fantastic Four.
Four. Mhm.
But this is not a Marvel podcast.
No, it's not.
This is a cartoon podcast. What else we got in the news?
All right, that's it. Actually,
That's actually the news.
that's actually the news.
Then let us go ahead and jump into our spoiler-free section for the movie Chicken Run.
Mhm.
I first saw this movie in theaters in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first stop-motion movie I'd seen in a movie theater, if not the first stop-motion film I'd actually seen.
Mhm.
Because I didn't get a chance to watch either James and the Giant Peach or Nightmare Before Christmas while it was in theaters. Like, I still haven't seen James and the Giant Peach. But I remember being impressed with this movie even back then. This has been right before I went into high school. I remember it was funny. It had a great story. The animation was spectacular. And I couldn't believe nobody else I talked to around me had ever heard of the movie.
Mm.
It's like, guys, come on. This is a good movie. Y'all need to go see it. This puts a lot of stuff y'all watch to shame.
Mm.
Yeah, it's about chickens trying not to get, their heads chopped off, but it is an interesting movie, and I enjoy it tremendously. If you've never seen Chicken Run, I can tell you right now, go watch it. You will enjoy yourself. It is a fun movie, and it's a movie the whole family can watch. It does not suffer from kids' movie syndrome like Rio did. That is my spoiler-free thoughts.
Mm.
What are yours?
Okay, so this is the first time watching the movie, and I'm watching the movie, and I get to the end.
I'm now worried.
I didn't really like it. It was kind of boring. It was an interesting film. It had just kind of these, like, it was funny in some ways. It was kind of boring in some ways. Like, yeah, it was okay. Honestly, it was okay. It wasn't that great.
Please tell me this is an elaborate joke.
But kidding. It was great.
I was about to say,
it was a wonderful.
I will kick you out of this apartment.
Let's turn to the Drew Show. No, I'll be like, I honestly and truly, by the Savior of Jesus Christ, this was a wonderful, amazing, wonderful film that I loved. Like, it's one of these. It has the idea of, like, a history nerd like me is watching this film. It's like, oh my gosh, you
see what they're doing.
Yeah, you see what they're doing. It's like, oh my gosh, yes, I want more of this. And like the voice acting was perfect. It's a great film. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it took me 21 years to watch this. So yeah, I'm definitely missed out in a couple of years, but it was definitely worth a watch. And I highly recommend it.
About to come over there and slap the fire out of you,
or strangle me, and
perhaps
make me into pot pie.
hang you by your legs in the machine as it goes around. Make sure you hit the veg button. Oh me. Anyway.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's gonna bring us to the end of the spoiler-free section. Join us on the other side of the bumpers, and we will get to spoiling this thing. Okay, we are in the break if we need it.
All right, good deal.
Do you need it?
No, I don't.
Okay, then shall we just jump into the next part?
I'm halfway expecting you to smite me in my shoulder.
No, that's the wrong team. I'm on Womp. I will whomp you upside the head, boy. Now, Josh, on the other hand, he is on Team Smoked. He might smoke you from a distance.
Oh,
you get it up one side and right down the other.
Apparently.
Speaking of which, Josh said, "Let the fish boy swim." In response to Luca.
Okay.
And then Jacob, if he kicks you off, just come back wearing a lucha mask. It works every time.
It's like, honestly, I was thinking, I was like, okay, let's play it dead straight. Why I didn't like this film at all. And I was like, He's like, am I gonna crack? Am I gonna crack through this? And I was like, nope.
You had me.
Yes.
You really did have me. 'Cause I was
Victory!
going, okay, this has to be a joke. I am worried.
I wish I would
I-
have been able to see her face at the moment.
Go back and look at the replay. I was worried maybe it was a little too lighthearted for you.
Mhm.
But I was thinking, surely the POW camp metaphors will grab him. Surely. Anyway, let's jump into this.
Yes.
Coming back in. The following is a spoiler-filled review for the movie Chicken Run. Listener discretion is advised. Chicken Run was written and directed by Peter Lord, who also directed The Pirates Band of Misfits, and Nick Park, who directed many of the Wallace and Gromit shorts. The screenplay was by Carrie Kirkpatrick, and she wrote the screenplay for The Rescuers Down Under. Do I need to help you with something?
No.
Did you even hear what I said?
Yes, you were talking about cast. No, I was. I'm sorry. Sorry, I got distracted by Fathom Events. Continue.
I just said that the writer of this, Carrie Kirkpatrick, was the writer on Rescuers Down Under.
Yeah. I heard Rescuers Down Under.
Anyway.
Yeah, Rescuers Down Under. Amazing film. We will review that at some point.
Exactly. Getting into the cast. Rocky was played by Mel Gibson, our only American on the cast.
Freedom!
And yes, he did play William Wallace in Braveheart immediately before this.
Mm-hmm.
Julia, you need a better last name.
He doesn't mean that.
I really don't. Julia Sawalaha. Zawala? It's Zawala. Why can't I say Zawala? Anyway. Julia Sawala played Ginger. And in the Red Nose short, Doctor Who, The Case of Fatal Death, I didn't write down who she played.
Well,
the companion. The companion.
Oh, she was the companion. Okay.
Yeah, you know what the Red Nose Day special is in Japan? In England?
No.
It is literally this show they do for charity to raise support for children's hospitals over there.
Okay.
And it's something the BBC does, and they have these little skits all throughout the show.
Yeah.
Well, one of them prior to 2005,
okay,
which is when Ninth Doctor started, they did this one short called Doctor Who: The Curse of Fatal Death.
Okay.
Where Mr. Bean is the Doctor. At the beginning.
Okay.
Rowan Atkinson playing the Doctor. You can't tell me you don't want to watch this at some point.
That sounds interesting.
It is funny. It is very funny. Anyway. Imelda Staunton played Bunty. And in Harry Potter and the Order of the... Is it Order of the Phoenix?
The sixth one?
Half-Blood Prince.
That'll be the
one with Dolores Umbridge in it.
Oh,
I think that...
Wow, the fifth one.
Yeah, that's Order of the Phoenix.
The most evilest woman ever.
And she was Bunty. That was the chicken.
That was Bunty?
That was Bunty.
Wow. Okay, I didn't recognize her because I was watching the featurette and I was like, wait a minute, that's Dolores Umbridge?
At the time.
Wow. Okay.
Jane Horrocks played Babs. And in Corpse Bride, she played both the Black Widow Spider and Mrs. Plum. Lynn Ferguson was the voice of Mac. And in something called No Angels, she played a character named Stella. By the way, there's a lot of these I'm making it because of the British cast primarily. some of these, I'm guessing these are their big ones because I don't really know, because some of this I've never heard of. So forgive me if I'm missing something big.
Yeah.
But trust me, the really big ones I've got. Benjamin Whitrow played Fowler. And in BBC's rendition of Pride and Prejudice, he played the character of Mr. Bennet. Timothy Spall was the voice of Nick. And he was the voice, he played Peter Pettigrew in Harry Potter, aka Wormtail. Phil Daniels played the character of Fetcher. And in something called Quadrophenia, this was the biggest thing that was on his list.
Really?
This was the thing he was most famous for, according to this. Outside of Chicken Run, which was a lot of these people's, this was the one thing he was most known for. He played a character named Jimmy on that show. Tony Haygarth plays Mr. Tweedy. And in the 1979 version of Dracula, he played a character called Milo Renfield.
Okay.
Miranda Richardson was Militia Tweedy.
Hmm.
And I had to double check I was getting her first name right, because it is said in the movie. Militia, as in malicious.
Yes.
And in, well, I'm going to let you guess. What popular movie was she in that you would know? I've said the movie the franchise a couple times already.
Harry Potter?
Yes. Rita Skeeter in Harry Potter.
Oh, jeez. That's another character I hate in that book.
Yes. And she played that character.
Oh, wow. Now I can hear it. Oh, my gosh.
And John Sherian in a very cut down role of the circus man, aka Rocky's owner.
Mm-hmm.
Because that role was originally much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
He also was the character, played a Floshton captain in The Fifth Element.
Floshton captain.
That's an alien race.
Yeah, I've seen.
I'm not even sure I'm saying the name of the race correctly, so my apologies.
That is a very interesting film. Let's say
Yes.
that.
And getting into the Kingdom Hearts connections, once again, there are none in this one.
2 for 2.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Well, maybe we'll have some better luck next week.
maybe.
I actually don't know. I haven't looked at that one yet. Anyway, so what do we got in info and stuff?
All right, info and stuff. All right, so info and stuff. It is available to watch for free on Peacock Network. So if you have Peacock, you can watch it for free.
Foul movie for a foul streaming service.
Exactly. Get your tail feathers up. All right, on IMDb, it has a 7 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, this is a 97% and an audience score of 69.
The audience doesn't know what they're talking about on this one. It deserves to be bigger. Spoiler alert on my thoughts.
All right, production. It was done by Armin Animation, DreamWorks Animation, Align Filmmakers, which was uncredited, Pathé, which I have no. Apparently, this
This is
was
the French distributor.
No, it's actually one of the people who helped produce the film.
Yes, but I mean that was one of the things they were the French studio that also got distribution rights in France.
Speaking of Padel's distribution for Europe and DreamWorks Pictures for worldwide release.
Mm-hmm.
It had a budget. No. All right. It was released on June 22nd, 2000 in the US and June 30th in the UK, which is weird because this is a UK movie. But
DreamWorks apparently got the better deal.
Agreed. All right. It had an estimated budget of $45 million. Its opening weekend was $17.5 million. That was on June 25th, 2000. Its overall gross in the United States was $106.8 million. Its worldwide gross was $224.8 million. Home release. Chicken Run was released on VHS and DVD on November 21st, 2000. July 2014, the film rights distribution right was purchased by DreamWorks Animation and Paramount Pictures, owners of the pre-live action DreamWorks catalog, and transferred to 20th Century Fox.
And then eventually Universal.
Yeah, and eventually Universal. As a result, Universal Home Video released Chicken Run on Blu-ray November in North America on July 22nd, 2019. A sequel. Now, this is interesting.
Yes.
All right. After years of lying dormant, a sequel to Chicken Run was announced on April 26, 2018. It was announced that Aardman Animations would return with Studio Camel, Pethia, and DreamWorks Animation. Will not be.
That's the DreamWorks Animation. I didn't think was involved. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they will not be involved after they ended their partnership with Aardman at the release of Flushed Away in 2006. As of,
which probably means this will be released by Sony Pictures Animation over here when the time comes.
Yes,
because they've been working with them a lot recently.
Yeah, I am getting there.
I'm sorry.
You're good. On June 22nd, 2020, on the 20th anniversary of the film's release in U.S. cinema, Netflix announced that it has negotiated with Aardman Films, Pethia, and DreamWorks Universal Pictures to acquire the rights to the sequel. Principal photography began on February 27th, 2021. On April 16th, 2021, production began to May 2nd, 2021. It is expected at this current time to be released some point in 2023.
And assuming the podcast is still going by that point, which we have no reason not to think so.
Yeah.
Look forward to a reaction to that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So, getting into the summary for this film. A group of chickens live on an egg farm. Let me start that over again now that my mom is not texting me. I'm saying that because I think she's in the chat and I'm messing with her. A group of chickens live on an egg farm run by the Tweedies. They try to escape, but are always caught, frustrated at the minuscule and declining profits that the farm generates. Mrs. Tweedy conceives an idea of converting the farm to an automated production and having a pie machine to turn the chickens into meat pies. One day, the chicken's leader, Ginger, observes a rooster named Rocky Rhodes crash land in the farm. The chickens put a cast on his injured wing and hide him from the Tweedies. Interested in Rocky's apparent flying abilities, Ginger begs him to help teach her and the chickens to fly. Rocky gives them training lessons while Mr. Tweedy builds the pie machine. Later, Rocky holds a party when his wing is healed, and Ginger insists he demonstrate flying the next day. But Mr. Tweedy finishes making the pie machine and puts Ginger in for a test run. Rocky saves her and inadvertently sabotages the machine, giving them time to warn the others of the Tweedies' plans, and only a short time to escape. The next day, Ginger finds Rocky has fled, leaving behind part of a poster that reveals he was a stunt rooster, fired from a cannon and unable to fly himself. Depressing her and the others, elderly rooster Fowler tries to cheer them up by telling them stories of his time in the Royal Air Force, giving Ginger the idea to create a plane to flee the farm. The chickens assemble parts for the plane as Mr. Tweedy fixes the machine. Mrs. Tweedy insists Mr. Tweedy gather all the chickens for the machine, but when he comes in, the chickens attack him, leaving him bound and gagged as they finish the plane. Rocky returns and joins them, but while they are taking off, Mrs. Tweedy chases them and climbs up a strand of Christmas lights snagged by the plane. Ginger races to sever it. She succeeds, sending Mrs. Tweedy into the pie machine and causing a gravy explosion. The chickens continue their flight until they find an island where they enjoy their freedom and Ginger and Rocky start a relationship.
Gravy.
Getting into the trivia for this episode, all of Babs's knitting that we see in this movie is real.
Ah.
It was all done with toothpicks as needles.
Yeah, I saw that.
There was a major push to get the film nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards that year. The failure to get the nomination and the popularity of the film among Academy members led to the inclusion of Best Animated Feature for the next Academy Awards, 2002, which was won by the fellow DreamWorks film Shrek in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
After Rocky leaves, there's a joke at Mel Gibson's expense.
Mm-hmm.
Bunty says, "I don't even think he was American," a reference to the common misconception that Mel Gibson is actually Australian. Although he was born in the US and didn't move to Australia until he was 12, the belief persists, especially in the UK, that he's Australian.
Mm-hmm.
Mel Gibson's kids played a major part in convincing Gibson to take the part because they were very impressed with the Wallace and Gromit shorts. The original script featured an additional character, Ginger's little brother, Nobby. DreamWorks suggested that Nobby was left out in order to make the film less cute. According to the pattern of the scarf she is wearing, the Scottish chicken Mac, played by Lynn Ferguson, belongs to Clan MacLeod of Lewis, Scotland.
Mm.
Fowler's military service is not entirely unprecedented. During an actual recording made under fire during the March 24th, 1944 invasion of the Marshall Islands by the 5th Amphibian Corps, correspondent Fred Welker reported on the sudden appearance of a chicken in the midst of the gunfire, which broke the tension. Walker then reported on the inexplicable appearance of chickens during previous invasions, suggesting in jest that the USO must be sending them.
Okay, interesting.
The characters' bodies were made of silicone and latex covering,
Mm-hmm.
while the heads and hands or wings were plasticine, which is clay. All the chicken characters have collars and ruffles to hide the disparity between the modeling clay heads and wings and the latex-covered bodies. Ginger and Rocky were named after two of co-writer and co-director Nick Park's childhood pet chickens.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The filmmakers were nervous about showing Rocky and Ginger kissing, fearing the sight of two chickens touching beaks would look too awkward. This led to the running gag of their being interrupted every time they were about to kiss. By the sound of the pie machine, by Ginger slapping Rocky, by the gravy explosion. When the kiss finally comes, it is staged so that the actual contact of quote-unquote lips is hidden. There is a reference early in the movie during the machine escape to Indiana Jones, where she reaches back in and grabs her hat before the door closes.
Yeah.
Well, there's actually another reference in that sequence that was never used. It would have had Rocky come face to face with a chicken skeleton inside the machine, as Indy does in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Rocky would then have said, "They bought a used machine? How cheap is that?" And Mel Gibson recorded all of his lines separately in the United States, while the rest of the cast recorded together at Aardman Animations Limited in Bristol, England. It took a week to create 3 or 4 chickens. Each one was designed with an armature underneath, like a skeleton, and rods were used whenever a chicken ran or flew. The puppets were then manipulated and photographed 24 times for every second of film. Several puppets were produced because plasticine isn't too durable. So silicone was used too because it is more durable and saved time on making more puppets. There were 100 individual stages in order to create one chicken.
Wow.
Early in development, Mac's name was supposed to be short for McNugget.
McNugget?
McNugget.
Really?
Yes. Many sequences were modeled after The Great Escape, 1963.
Of course.
When Ginger is digging the tunnel, she is shown on a small trolley being pulled through the tunnel, like the character played by Charles Bronson. When she is locked up, she bounces a ball against the wall, like the character played by Steve McQueen. Even the music is similar to the Escape theme. When Rocky first appears on the farm, Fowler denounces him and all Yanks by calling them overpaid, oversexed, and overhere. This was a common gripe about U.S. service members, expressed by British, and in the Pacific Theater Australian, troops and civilians during World War II. It has since passed into the vernacular as an expression of mild resentment towards America. The American retort was that the Allies were underpaid, undersexed, and under Eisenhower. In the same rant, Fowler also claims that Yanks are late for every war. The U.S. entered World War I in 1917 and World War II in December of 1941, roughly 3 years after the British had started fighting in each war.
Well, technically, America did not enter the war until 1943.
Well, officially.
Officially, yes.
There were people over there already. But anyway.
Or they didn't hit the shores until 1944. So, either way.
Anyway.
You're talking to the history nerd here.
I'm just quoting what I found on IMDb. I will admit there's always problems.
Oh, yeah.
Hut 17 is a reference to the World War II POW film Stalag 17 from 1953, directed by Billy Wilder. Rocky also says, I've met a load of hard-boiled eggs in my time, but you're 20 minutes. A line from Wilder's film previous to Stalag 17, Ace in the Hole. The orchestra for this film included, in addition to the traditional orchestra and chorus, a 15-piece kazoo choir.
I saw that.
A bagpiper, a jazz band, a harmonica player, and an accordionist. Last, and most certainly not least, even though this should get me killed on Star Wars Day, during the escape scene at the end of the film, Mac says, I kind of work miracles, Captain. We're giving her all she's got.
I love that.
And later, when Mrs. Tweety grabs onto the rope, hanging from the chicken's flying hut, Fowler shouts, Great Scott, what was that? Which then Mac replies, It's a Klingon, Captain. The engines kind of take more of it.
I didn't hear that.
Yes. I will prove it to you.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that is so excellent.
These are both references to the Star Trek character from the original series, Chief Engineer Montgomery Scott, played by James Doohan, who, like Mac, is also Scottish, and the chief engineering officer aboard the USS Enterprise.
Oh, okay. That
you
is
were probably still laughing too much for the engine's kind of taking more of it, Captain.
I heard that.
You kind of break the laws of physics.
All right, so I do want to bring my own little bit of trivia. So when we first meet Rocky,
oh yeah, I left this part out.
What is the first thing you hear him say?
He shouts, "Freedom!" Much like William Wallace does in Braveheart.
Yes.
You can take our eggs, but you can never take
our freedom.
That would have been a funnier line, but that wouldn't have fit that part of the movie.
So I want to just say this one really funny thing, kind of connected with William Wallace. So my family on my mother's side is the Anderson clan, which can go directly back to Scotland.
Whereas I can be traced back to Clan McKinnon.
Interesting.
Clan McKinnon.
All right. So regarding the Anderson clan at the Battle of
Anderson.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So the Battle of Stirling Bridge was a very famous battle between the European forces and the Scots. My family actually fought with William Wallace, and oddly enough, I actually house sat for a Wallace family, and it turns out he is a direct descendant of William Wallace.
Nice.
So I was like, wow, what about the Kawiki? And my nerdy mind went boom. It was so awesome. So yeah, nice little tie into there.
Right. Anyway, since I've been talking quite a bit, even though you just talked for quite a bit, what is your first like for this film?
Learning to fly. The whole sequence, the whole gag of Rocky, quote unquote, teaching the hens how to fly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. Hens don't fly.
No, chickens don't fly.
Chickens don't fly. And I'm like, wait a minute.
That's the whole gag.
Yeah, that was
this entire movie.
Well, it took me a moment. I was like, wait. I was like, okay, Rocky's flying, but he's not really flying because you hear that cannon shot off. Mm-hmm. So it's Rocky being pushed into a position that he needs because Ginger is fully believes that this chicken can fly, or this rooster can fly, and he's very hesitant because he wants to pull her aside. It's like, hey, I really didn't fly. I got blown out of a cannon. But then his ego gets the better of him, or his hubris gets the better of him. It's like, oh yeah, I can teach you guys how to fly, no problem. It's the entire montage of them, the exercising, the launching of catapults, which I thought was the way they were going to do it. I did not expect them to build a plane. But just the whole regiment of them learning how to fly, and Rocky kind of enjoying the leisure of all these hens enjoying him, and like, enjoying his company, and all the time he can't fly. He doesn't know how to fly. All he knows how to do is just get shot out of a cannon. And I thought it was the neatest idea that when Rocky leaves on the day of they're going to learn to fly, that it's discovered that, oh yeah, he actually got shot out of a cannon.
Yeah,
I thought that was like brilliant. It was a brilliant story move. And I was like, oh, okay. So we get the poster, and you don't realize there's a bottom half missing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, okay, that was good. That was a really, really good ploy, because I didn't catch it. And then when Ginger discovers it, it's like, oh my gosh, we're doomed. We're gonna all become pies.
Yeah. And
then luckily they are the older oh, come on, what's his name?
Fowler?
Yeah, Fowler, who I thought was John Hunt. Like, listening to him, I thought he was John Hunt, but I was mistaken.
You mean John Hurt?
Yeah, John Hurt. That's what I mean, Jay. John Hurt. Yeah, just the whole thing, the hubris of you're going to learn how to fly when you're a chicken, which a chicken cannot fly. I thought that was funny. I thought the entire thing was hilarious.
Okay.
All right. What is your number one?
My number one is The Tragedy of Edwina the Hen.
Oh, okay.
You remember who Edwina was?
And isn't she the one that she gets plucked out because she didn't stop producing eggs?
Very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Her entire role is to show what's going to happen if they fail.
Oh yeah.
Or what if they fail to produce eggs.
Yeah.
To give us the first bit of issue, and then the fact that the pie thing comes later is like, now we're going to do it at full operating capacity. But the way that entire sequence is handled, you get that part where Mrs. Tweedy is walking down the line, and all you see at first is the little zero, the 5 red zeros across the clipboard. And they get a little bit of explanations. Oh no, it's Edwina. She hasn't produced an egg all week. Why didn't you give her some of yours? She didn't tell me. She didn't tell anyone. It's like, A, how do you know she didn't tell anyone? B, this chicken is a red shirt waiting to happen. Because
yeah, exactly.
That's the entire point of the character. And so, and as like you get the chicken being carried off to the barn.
A motivational sacrifice.
Yes. You get a glimpse of an axe. You then get a shot of the chickens walking around their pen and looking in that direction, and you hear just
exactly.
That's all you hear.
Yeah,
and the music kind of takes a downturn, and everyone's sad and everything, and then just to push it in just a little bit more. The next scene that's in their house is they're talking about how little minuscule profits they're getting.
Oh, yeah.
Her skeleton is on the table.
Oh, yeah.
They ate her.
Oh, my gosh.
Just to say, yeah, here's what is at stake.
Yes.
Right now, when things are relatively in good shape.
And
it's going to get worse.
Mhm.
So yeah, I love how they handled the tragedy of Edwina the hen.
Oh gosh.
Your number 2, like?
My number 2, like, beautiful stop motion.
I'm gonna jump in on this one, as this is also my number 2.
Yeah, because there again, stop motion is a dying art.
Yes,
It's a dying art. It's not because CGI has dominated the market when it comes to animated films.
In fact, Aardman even does a lot of CG now.
Yeah, but this being 2000, and the fact that Aardman started off as a stop motion claymation, and to see some of their early beginning stuff was really good.
Yeah.
But just the fact that like you're looking at like the camera movements, and the fact that for like one day's work, to get for 2 seconds of film, it took an entire day.
Yeah.
What
you're looking at 48 shots.
Yeah.
In essence.
Yeah, pretty much. And claymation, claymation is hard.
48 clicks of the shutter of a camera.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what and it takes all day to get all that set up, and all that took.
Oh yeah.
Even though you're only maybe moving a little bit here or there.
Yeah. You're basically doing this.
Yes. And keep in mind, that's just talking about stuff like the shot of Ginger and Rocky on top of the hen house there, where that's a relatively simple shot. Now imagine how much work the shots on the inside of the plane with all the chickens in there are.
Oh yeah.
How hard that was.
That was a huge set.
Or the dance scene in the middle of the movie.
Oh yeah.
With a flip flop flop. I love that. Love the name of that song.
Yeah. Yeah, just overall, but like the cinematography of how they like at some points do like almost a 360 shot.
Yeah.
In some scenes where it's like, oh my gosh, it'd be like how just to calculate that, like how many months did it take you to do that one shot? It's like using the Matrix 360 shot, but with claymation. It's just like, that's gonna be insane. But it's beautifully well executed film that has just this ratcheted up artistic flair to it that just is so wonderful to watch. And it's mind-blowing watching, professionally well done claymation, or in this case stop motion. It's mind-boggling. And the exoskeleton, the skeletons they built for this.
Yeah.
And like during the documentary, they stated it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a Terminator. Terminator, they go up to the eye, it glows. It's hilarious. Go check the features out. It's great. It's just a wonderful piece of art when it comes to stop motion. And like I said in the beginning, it's a dying art, and it's great to see stuff like this. I think the one that I'll be like, we've done a few stop motion films right now. Kubo and
the Two Strings. Of course, Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit. There was Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes.
Corpse Bride.
Yes.
I think that's all of them.
I think so. But yeah, just
we need to do more stop motion.
Yes, we do.
In fact, remind me to talk to you about something when we get done.
All right. Yeah. So basically, the animation and stop motion. What is your? I think you just.
Yeah, my number 2 is also the stop motion claymation in this film, because this stuff is downright beautiful. I'm going to try and touch on some things you didn't. One of the big ones I want to touch on is the design of the chicken heads.
Yeah.
Now, this does use Aardman's traditional style of, the really small eyes and really big mouths, which you wouldn't think could translate to chickens very well.
Yeah.
But the idea of using the top part of the beak as a nose, in essence, I think worked very well in this design.
Yes.
every single chicken in the film is beautifully well done. They look like giant flightless birds.
Yes.
And I love how they had to make the chickens and the Tweeties different sizes depending on the shot when they were in the same scene.
Mm-hmm.
In many of the scenes that had you have the Tweeties at a relatively huge size so that they would tower over the chickens, and then you'd have little bitty chickens.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to have the chickens be full size in their shots, and they would actually have essentially Tweeties that were the same physical size as the chicken models for the shots that only included them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the chicken pot pie machine.
Oh my gosh.
That machine, kudos for it actually feeling like a real factory machine.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So many times you just get these machines in cartoons and such where you don't really know how it does what it does.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of just something magically goes in one side and comes out magically turned into something else. This actually feels like, and I can see how it would work, an actual chicken pot pie making machine, even though it's a bit of a contraption.
Mm-hmm.
And I am betting that the Wallace and Gromit shorts helped with the feel of that and the animation.
Yeah.
Stuff like the wrong trousers
Mm-hmm.
is the one that comes to my mind. But that whole thing where it's amazing how cavernous the inside of that feels. And still one of my favorite parts is when they're getting chased by the gears.
Oh, that's
as
hilarious.
They're skipping out that. I have an issue that I'll bring up later with that entire scene. But for the most part, the animation in that is spectacular. The animation in the whole movie is spectacular. And I love the design of the plane. The fact that it actually does look like it would operate the way we see it operate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether that would actually produce flights, another matter entirely.
Yes.
And I will leave it alone.
Yes.
But I can see how the mechanics of that machine works, and I liked how well it was animated, and I like how you can tell what it was made out of. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you that my second like for this film is the stop motion animation.
Okay.
What is your third?
My third, definitely going into the history nerd in me, is the World War II parallels of the British POWs now at a POW camp, and the fact that it's so wonderful. The fact that like your opening shot is it literally looks like a POW camp, and you have the night watchman and the two dogs,
yes,
and the brave escape, and it's like, wait, this is a chicken coop. I'm like, just perfect. Like the fact that the water tower looks like a guardhouse, and like the layout of the camp, the layout of the pen looks like a POW camp. Just like excellent. The fact that like there's so many different they use like terminology and it gave me such a thrill to watch this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I haven't watched this yet. Where was this my entire life? Oh yeah, it was 2000. I was like, I don't really watch cartoons anymore.
There are so many films both of us should have watched.
Yeah,
during
agreed.
that era of our lives.
Agreed.
Everybody goes through, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
That we missed and we've had to go back and watch.
Oh yeah.
A couple of those will be coming up in the next few weeks for me. So.
Exactly. All right. So what is
my third is the Tweedies.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Tweedy and Militia Tweedy. Militia Tweedy is by far, for one thing, I can't look at this and look at these two and not think back to the television show Hogan's Heroes.
Okay.
The Commandant and oh shoot, I can't think of his name, but but they're very much. I mean, the Commandant in Hogan's Heroes is definitely a lot more community because it's a sitcom set in a POW camp in World War II. But I mean, that was primarily, especially at this age that I would have seen this in, primarily my my reference that I could make to what this movie was. But I can see her as the evil commandant of the prison, with Mr. Tweedy being the goofy, slightly idiotic guard. And how they work off of each other is their lines against each other are some of the best lines in the whole movie, in my opinion. My favorite is when after the hens start attacking Mr. Tweedy.
Oh, yes.
And he goes, "The chickens, they're revolting!" And Mrs. Tweedy says, "Finally, something we can agree on." Or it's like, "What? Those chickens, they're up to something. The ginger one, she's their leader." "They're chickens, you dolt!" The whole dynamic between those two.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, and let's not forget, what kind of machine is it? It's a pie machine. What kind of pies?
Right.
Apple. Really? I like apple pies.
Right.
Chicken pie, you dolt. Their whole dynamic is perfect.
Agreed.
But there's one joke. I say joke. There's one shot that cements Mrs. Tweedy as the best villain probably of that decade. I'm going to say. For me anyway. And that is the shot where she's holding on to the Christmas tree lights after they've hit the the billboard.
Yeah.
And Ginger looks up and she sees this nice plastered version of Mrs. Tweedy looking kind, and she rips, and Mrs. Tweedy rips the thing off, and she's got the axe being held in her mouth and looks like she's about ready to spit fire. It's like, that is the best shot. I don't care. That just proves how crazy this woman is.
Yes.
And how much she's tired of the measly profits that she has been making. Spoiler alert. You have great amount of losses at this point at the end of this movie.
Oh, yeah. You literally lost the farm.
You no longer have the chickens.
Yeah.
Which you had no way of. I'll bring that part up in a minute in the logistics. Because I have a logistics issue.
Okay.
You've got she lost the chickens. She's lost the machine, not to mention the cost of the machine that now she's not getting anything from.
Yeah.
And the supplies that were in that machine, both gravy, dough, and vegetables. You've got, I don't know how much destruction the launching of that plane actually caused, but you are definitely missing most of your hen houses at this point. And the barn is gone. At that point, you and Mr. Tweedy move into the city and get regular jobs.
Yeah, pretty much.
You have destroyed. Congratulations, Militia Tweedy. You are in debt. A lot of debt. Because you not only have you lost all that, more than likely from the sound of things, you've already made deals with the local grocery store.
Yeah.
That you now cannot fulfill.
Yes.
You've printed labels. We've seen that. She has a billboard that not only does she not have that advertisement anymore that she paid for, she's probably now responsible for the damages to that billboard of her property, of the chickens, because at the time they were still her property, destroying that billboard with her face on it. Because she was tired of small profits.
Yes.
She now has more debt than the farm probably ever had in all of its existence over who knows how many years.
Yeah, pretty much.
We know at least 3 generations, probably more. And that is my third like.
Wow. Okay.
The Tweeties. They are ridiculous, they are over the top, and they are hilarious.
Agreed.
And I can definitely see them as the runners of a prison camp. Even if it's a prison camp for chickens.
Bravo.
Now we have to go into our dislikes.
Yes.
What is your first dislike?
My first dislike is actually laying of eggs.
I'm just glad we never had to show them laying the eggs.
Yeah. But the fact is, like, okay, we have the sacrificial.
No, I take that back. We did see them laying eggs. Seen one of them lay eggs
Yeah.
at one point. I'm sorry. I forgot. I stripped that one from my mind.
Yeah, true. All right, so laying of eggs. So the sacrificial character who is, I'm forgetting her name at the moment,
Edwina.
Gets the axe because she's not producing eggs.
Yeah.
What about Ginger? It's stated
Ginger produced eggs.
that she hasn't.
How do you know there's not an egg in that coal bin?
Well, according to another chicken, one of the other chickens, our hens, excuse me, had said, if you would spend
Yes.
if you would spend more time laying eggs instead of playing escapes,
Okay.
like, we might not be in this issue.
Bunty's exact line was, well, she was talking about Edwina doing that.
Yeah.
Not Ginger. More than likely, they did not do an escape attempt every night. So more than likely, Ginger had to have been in her normal nest at least 2 or 3 nights a week.
Right.
And probably produce some eggs.
Mm.
That's my theory. My guess is Edwina was a bit of a nervous nit in a way.
Possibly.
And possibly the idea of getting caught may have caused her to be not as productive, let's say.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Okay.
I have no quote on this.
I got you. Yeah, it seemed very odd because you find that Ginger is always planning and scheming. She's always in the isolation booth every night.
We don't know if it's every night. We just know it's regular.
Yeah, it's very regular. So it would almost come to a conclusion and be like, is she producing eggs? And the answer is, we don't have a hard fact.
We don't know for certain because we did not see her name on the list and see how many eggs that week she'd produced.
Yeah, exactly.
I will grant you we do not have this. However, I would say I would say the fact that she's not been put to the axe.
Yeah.
At any point prior to this, the fact that her life doesn't come into danger until they need to test the machine.
Yeah.
Proves that she is at least producing the bare minimum amount of eggs to not get killed.
Yeah. I can see that.
The bare minimum.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming is at least one a week.
Yeah. One would think.
One hopes.
One would hope. Or unless she's stealing other eggs too.
I doubt that because she's a good person.
She's a good hen.
Yes.
Just has higher ambitions.
Yes, she wants everyone to be free, but she recognizes she still has to work within the system to some degree.
That is true.
Anyway.
Either way, so that is my first dislike. What is your first dislike?
My first dislike is a continuity issue in inside the machine.
Okay.
When they're in the pie and the hot gravy is about to squirt into the pie there, it's before they get into the oven. The camera, we're seeing it from their position, and we come underneath that gun and we see what I'm guessing is the rubber. I don't know what you call it. The bit of rubber expands to show that it's full and ready to squirt.
Yeah.
We see it puff out.
Yeah.
Obviously saying, this thing's ready to go. But when the camera shifts to them, getting out and the gravy actually squirting in, that for those first couple frames, it is small again and then puffs back out for it to actually squirt.
I didn't notice that.
It's literally a second that it's obviously smaller again and puffs back out.
So half a day's work.
Yeah, that's the thing that gets me. My guess is that they initially were planning on showing more of the process. You know, in some movies, if they have one of these factory things, like someone's tied up and is going to get, pulverized by something, like in a spy movie, like a James Bond movie. I have a feeling this might have been a James Bond reference.
I gotcha.
They'll show the spot right before where James Bond is on the conveyor belt, and it'll act like, oh, is he going to get in there? And the hot metal pours down just in time. The camera switches out, and you see, oh, James Bond's not the one getting burnt right now. It's obviously the one right before him. I suspect it was something like that was the original shot. You were going to see the whole thing begin to squirt, and then it would shift to the one before it getting the gravy, and then they would move under it, and then you would get that scene.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling they cut the middle parts of that out for timing issues.
Yeah.
Once again, theory. Don't have any proof of this.
Okay.
But the fact that and I'll admit this is a nitpick, but the fact that we do get that little continuity issue between a couple frames just stood out to me.
Okay.
What's your second dislike?
My second dislike, there again, my last two are very much nitpicks. It's looking at like watching animation now for the third year for reviewing. You notice little things like in animation, like one of the film we did would be The Swan Princess, where there's a scene where the frame drops out of frame. You have the exact same.
I still think of when we watched Oliver and Company, and the two dogs just disappear right before they fall off screen.
Oh yeah, yeah, just stuff like that. Just little things like that. There's one moment where I think it's Ginger who is talking, and literally you see like a little bit of the frame just kind of poke out just a little bit in the corner. You see that for like maybe like a second and a half.
Okay, now I'm going to have questions because I like to defend stuff and play devil's advocate.
Right.
Is that the fault of the animators? Or is it the fault of the people doing the transfer from the film elements to the 1080p video?
I'm not sure.
Or the Blu-ray?
It could be. You never know.
Something like that sounds like it could be. It could be that it's in both, and I did not notice it in this viewing, so I can't comment on how it looked.
Yeah.
But I suspect it's probably in the VHS and the DVD master also, and I just don't know it because I missed that one. Yeah.
So there again, it's a little nitpick. You notice these little things where most people who watch it are like, oh, this is a great film, but you like when you're doing a critical review of a film, you start to notice really odd things, definitely about animation. And there again, these are made by people who are flawed and have a tendency of making mistakes. And it could be during the production, or it could be during post-production,
or the transfer for the Blu-ray later on.
It could have been at any point. It's just I saw that and I was like, that seems a little bit odd, but I couldn't pinpoint exactly, at what point of the process.
I can tell you, and I noticed this while I was watching the credits, that there is a bit of a gate wobble in the transfer. So we are actually looking at the film transfer, not any element before that point. So you can watch the text kind of slowly move back and forth while in there, like film does.
Yeah.
So there is that.
Okay.
It's not perfectly straight like we're used to with digital now.
Okay.
I don't think that's what you're referring to, but I did notice that.
Oh, okay.
But that kind of just put that for us. Yeah, that's just the film from when that's how they did it back then.
All right. So what is your dos?
My number 2. Rocky didn't get very far away before he had a change of heart.
No, he didn't.
And that's the thing. It's implied that he is miles away.
Yeah.
And I say it's implied because they find he's not there that morning.
Yeah.
He does not show back up until that night.
Yeah.
Right before they take off. So obviously Mr. Tweedy's been working on the machine all day. They've been working on building the plane all day. And Rocky, as far as we know, has gone maybe a mile to where the billboard is.
Yeah.
And then back. And I say it's about a mile because, let's face it, when the plane takes off, it goes as far as that billboard. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had that great shot of her taking her happy face off and showing her evil face.
Yeah.
Because that requires that to happen. And then they come back within minutes. Now, they're flying, sure.
Yeah. I
have no idea how fast they're flying, but I can see a mile in a minute for that. But the thing is, it took him a mile to tricycle. It took him all day to tricycle a mile away and back.
Yeah.
Even if it's 2 miles, there are faster ways he could have done that if he was truly in a hurry to get back.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know he probably took him a while to find the tricycle in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
find the radio,
Yo.
tune it into the Wanderer, and then get out there. It's like, oh, I should go back and help them. 6 hours later, here I am, Ginger. Here, let me save you. You've been gone 12 hours, and you went 2 miles. I know you're a chicken. I know the top speed of a chicken is probably nowhere near fast enough to go more than maybe a mile in a day.
Right.
I don't know. I've never looked into the science as to how fast a rooster can run.
Right.
Or how fast a rooster can ride a tricycle, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
But he did not get very far.
No, he didn't.
And he took him a long time to get back. So yeah, that bit of a issue.
I gotcha.
Rocky not getting very far is my second dislike.
I gotcha.
What's your third dislike?
There again, a nitpick. Again, I don't know where this was in production. Either it was during production or post-production or during transfer.
Mm-hmm.
At one point when the chickens are actually running, I think it's the frame rate just kind of just it looks so odd.
I do know that the frame rate for this is not actually 24 frames per second.
Okay. Which
is your normal your normal frame per second, I think, for a movie is like 28.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. A large portion of the movie, I think, is of stop motion is supposed to be 24.
Uh-huh.
They did this one at 20 frames per second.
Makes sense.
And so a lot of your faster movement stuff is going to stick out more.
Makes sense.
As it's not going to look quite right. And you can't, unlike with normal animation, you can't cheat and have speed lines.
True.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. It's like, I'm agreeing with you. Here's the reason why I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
It was literally a 20 frame per second film.
Yeah.
If this was hand-drawn, we'd say they animated on 2s.
Yeah.
Whereas most stop motion is animated on 1s.
Yeah. Now, granted, most of the run cycles, when they're actually running, you don't see their feet per se in most of them. But in that one particular shot or two, when they all start scrambling, all you see is just a blur of feet.
Yeah.
And it's just it was a little
and yet
offsetting.
It doesn't blur enough.
Yeah, it doesn't blur enough.
Because it's just
the frame per second, which is so odd
mm-hmm.
with that cycle. Either way, so yeah, that was my number 3.
Well, if I remember correctly, it was animated at 20 frames per second and then transferred to a 28 frame per second. The 20 frame per second film was then transferred to the 28 frame per second master that would eventually would be edited on.
Okay,
that's how it happened. Anyway, sorry.
Gotcha.
My third dislike. There was another logistical error I had.
Okay.
Now I can't remember it. And this is the one thing I did not write down because I couldn't think of a third one earlier. And then we said something in the likes that made me think, oh, there's a good third one. And then, of course, I didn't write it down at that time because why would I do that?
Yeah. Think,
It was
think.
something to do with the machine, wasn't it?
Yes, in the gears.
Yes, the gears. Okay, thank you. Machines. There's logistic in how that machine
Mm-hmm.
works.
Okay.
For one thing, you have to tie the chickens to the leg restraints first.
Yeah.
Why can't you just shove the chickens into the machine? For one thing.
Right.
For a cheat machine like this, because I'm assuming this is meant to be a cheat machine, why do you have... And I mean, I've not messed with chickens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I know they do some weird stuff with chickens. Oh, hang on. I remember the exact logistical issue.
Okay, go for it.
Where are they getting the rest of these chickens for this machine? What is her long-range plans for this chicken pot pie factory thing she's starting off? She's got roughly, what, 20 chickens and a rooster?
Possibly.
Where is she going to go and buy chicks?
I guess.
Fowler looks to be far too old at this point to be the father of any chickens.
Yeah.
At this point.
Right.
And more than likely, he's the father of some of these hens.
Probably.
I'm guessing. And they're not going out and looking like they're buying a rooster. Because you can't count Rocky because he was being hidden there.
Yeah.
So my logistical issue
That is a good point.
What was her long-range plans once she got rid of the current chickens she had? Who were, they were fattened up.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get rid of that flock of 30 chickens, that's good for maybe, let's say you can get 2 pot pies out of a chicken.
Okay.
Estimating.
Depends on the size of your chicken.
Babs admittedly maybe could get another 3. Bunty maybe 4. I don't know. But let's just running an average.
Yeah.
2 pot pies per chicken with the meat.
Yeah.
And that's if you're being skimpy.
Yeah.
Which I can see Militia being very skimpy in her meat.
Mm-hmm.
You get roughly 60 pies out of the current stock of chickens.
Yeah. Nowhere near to fill the band.
Nowhere. That's enough to get a sample run.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally a sample run. That particular farm is not really designed to handle more than 30 chickens.
Yeah. You're looking at full production. You're looking at
you need a full chicken.
You're looking at thousands of birds.
Now, to some degree, we have a little bit of insight on this because here in East Texas, there are a lot of chicken farms.
Agreed.
We have seen
And
real chicken farms.
Yes.
We have smelled real chicken farms.
Blech.
We have walked through real chicken farms. We have driven past their plants. In order for them, even if it's just a local area,
yeah,
you need at least probably to be able to go through 100 chickens a month.
Yeah.
Just to take care of the local grocery store, maybe a couple 2 other places, maybe sell some at a corner market, not corner market, a
fair,
or trade show or something like that. You need to be able to handle 100 chickens a month. And ideally, you want to get them as chicks and completely control how they're raised from, ideally, you want them as eggs, but get them from chicks so you can take them from childhood to adulthood and you can feed them and take care of them and make sure they're safe and, good for the actual act of making chicken pot pies. Yeah, everything else you can order in. You can't do that with the chickens very well.
Yeah.
Not without spending a boatload of additional money, which already you're going from eggs to chicken pot pies. I can't imagine there's that much additional profit going from an egg farm to a to full-on chicken production.
Yeah, there's way too much overhead.
A lot of overhead. You can go out of business with a chicken farm. And by chicken farm, I mean farming the chickens, not farming their eggs.
Yeah.
At least with eggs, you can hold on to those. You can, well, you've got the egg laying things for a long time. Here, you're just going through them like water through a goose.
Mm-hmm.
The chickens that are there, they're going to be gone in probably a week.
Yeah.
There's no way from her plan does this not hold up. Because she does not have enough chickens. And there's no point does she look into saying, okay, where can we get some more chickens so we can get this going? All this is, as far as we know, all doing this will do is get rid of all the chickens and then they can leave. But that's can't be your full goal. That's not why you buy a machine like this.
Yeah.
So I don't understand from a business perspective her plan.
There's no long-term projective.
You have a better long-term goal with the eggs, right? In their situation than you do making chicken pot pies.
Mm-hmm.
Also, last I checked, you got to freeze chicken pot pies.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to store them for any length of time.
Yeah. So,
but that's beside the point. I'm just saying, from a logistical point of view, her whole plan makes no sense.
Well, in that,
what do we expect from someone who got their idea from an ad?
Agreed.
A get rich quick scheme ad.
Agreed. And that's that same idea. The idea that her ultimate goal is to get richer faster. Yeah. And like she's not thinking of all the logistics. She's not thinking of like
everything you got to, because
long-term planning at all.
Admittedly, their feed shouldn't go up because they should be able to use the same amount of feed to feed new chickens. But now you've got to go get chickens because you are so impatient to get your current flock of chickens out of there. You don't go to the trouble of saying, our rooster is getting old. Let's go get another rooster for the sole purpose of getting us more chickens that we don't have to go pay anybody for.
That's true.
All they had to do was go find a rooster. Or heck, accidentally find Rocky. Don't go tell the circus people that they found him. And have him be the rooster, because we see by the end of the movie, when they're on the island, he and Ginger at least got busy.
Yeah, exactly.
One assumes he also got busy with a couple of the other chickens.
Right. So
we'll not get into that.
Yeah. So here's another logistical problem with this. So the end of the movie, they're on this island.
Yes.
So
a chicken sanctuary.
So chickens primarily eat feed or worms or what have you.
Yeah.
Be like you're living on an island. You can't fly. I'll be like, these are very intelligent birds. Yeah. So they possibly could build a boat, but it's okay. So
no. Here's the thing. I'm agreeing with you on this.
Okay.
And and the reason I'm agreeing with you on this is because I am thinking of the place I've been where I've seen an island that was a bird sanctuary.
Okay.
You know where Lake Fork is?
Yes.
If you go to Lake Fork from Quitman, I can't remember the name of that road. I think it's 155, but I'm also thinking that's not it. Maybe 154.
Yeah.
Anyway, that road that goes from Quitman to Sulphur Springs via Lake Fork.
When
you go across Lake Fork, right there is a small island just to the right of it that is a bird sanctuary.
Okay.
Every time I remember going past it, it was covered over with birds. Didn't matter what time of year. There's always birds on it. You want to know what was interesting about that island? Everything on the island was dead that was not bird. Because they had eaten everything on the island. They had pooped all over that island. And there's so much nitrogen on the island from all the bird poop that the trees can't even survive.
Yeah.
They are over fertilized.
Yep.
that is the future of their chicken sanctuary, which is why I am interested to see what the sequel's going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's face it, the reason why the chicken yard did not have grass in it was not just because the war movie aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
It was also because it was a chicken yard, and the chickens had pretty much pecked everything on that island, in that yard, away.
Exactly.
Anyway, I think that's going to bring us to the end of this review.
I think so.
What is your rating for this movie?
I'm going to give it a 9. I'd be like, when first watching this film, it instantly had me hooked. The fact to be like, you're using a POW camp style World War II base for a chicken farm, and using that as your basis for your film, is genius. And the fact to be like, you get invested with the characters, the silliness of, oh, we're gonna make it a chicken pot pie, and the hilarious of this movie is great. And the comedy was great. Mel Gibson did a tremendous job. Like, everybody in this film did an amazing job. And it was such a wonderful film that I loved. And my plan is to buy this film on Blu-ray. So yeah,
good choice.
I'll definitely be purchasing this in a future date. And yes, it is a 9 for me.
I'm giving it a 9.5.
Okay.
All 3 of my dislikes, I don't care about during the movie.
Yeah.
I was looking for my first one. I was looking for something. I knew I had to have something, and I knew it was going to be tough. And that's when I happened to see that little continuity issue.
Okay.
And I had to think hard on the other 2. If I have to think hard about dislikes, it probably means there's not a lot I didn't like about the movie.
Probably.
So, there are obviously things I wish were better, because no film's perfect.
Right.
This is definitely not quite what I would call a 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta give it 9.5.
Okay.
Which brings us to the end of yet another episode of the Cellcast.
All right. So before we get into that, I did have a reply, because yesterday I replied, it was me Monday. And so I put it out there, be like, comment down below, what did you like? And so the Facebook user going by Dapperman replied, one of my favorite animated movies. It has great humor, fun story, and very thought out commentary. Still amazing. Mel Gibson voiced this, and it works.
Agreed.
So thank you, Dapperman.
So our next movie is a movie that I have placed on the schedule in this position for one reason and one reason only. In memoriam of the vacation I'm not going on because of COVID-19. Because I was intending last year to go on a cruise. Obviously, it got canceled. We planned to go this year on and they were willing to give us cruise credit on board the ship, a very generous cruise credit, because obviously they want our business.
Mm-hmm.
And we kept up with it, and we were originally going to leave this Saturday on this cruise.
Mm-hmm.
But we were always worried about it getting canceled.
Yes.
And when we found out that if the cruise was going to happen, we were going to have to wear masks on deck, I think we all decided, as much as we want to stop the spread of COVID-19 and all that, we want to be good people. If we have to wear masks on the ship, that's not exactly getting us away from our problems.
Right.
Let's do vacation somewhere else.
Yes.
And so we went ahead and canceled. But at the same time, there's a part of me that's still thinking I'm going on the cruise next week. So we're going on a cruise next week, in a sense.
Full of monsters.
Indeed. Join us next week for Hotel Transylvania 3. I don't have a joke here.
Outro. Hold on.
I'll play a horn blast.
Okay. What about this has been Jacob. This
Yeah. This
Oh, knew you were gonna do that.
In the meantime, this has been Drew,
This is Jacob.
and we'll catch you in the next frame. In the horn blast.
Yes. Alrighty.
Okay. Also, I didn't say this. We need to watch the short for next week also. Puppy. I'll send you the link.
Puppy.
There's a short that came out between Hotel Transylvania 2 and Hotel
Oh,
Transylvania 3.
okay. Gotcha.
And it is canon. And otherwise, you're not going to know why. You're not going to. Well, I don't know if you even need to know why the puppy's there, but the puppy is funny.
I gotcha.
But I will send you the link on that.
Alrighty.
So we'll do that, I guess, during the pre-show, the spoiler-free section of the movie.
I gotcha.
Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us on this episode. Just get this saved, and then I'll go through what people have been posting since I last talked. All right. Mostly it's just Josh, because it is how it is. So way back up here, I'm not sure what this is a reference to, other than one of us probably said Shirley. Josh says, "Don't call me Shirley."
Okay.
You still not seen Airplane, have you?
No, I haven't.
That's why you don't think it funnier than I do.
Nope.
It says, "Ugh, rescuers." Apparently, me and Josh disagree on something else.
Oh.
Because apparently he does not like the Rescuers Down Under. He says 0 out of 10.
Boy, that is fighting words.
We shall have an interesting time.
Yep, exactly.
When we get to it.
Yep, we'll get there.
He then says, "I love the Curse of Fatal Death." The Doctor Who thing I told you about. He says, "Clan MacLeod, is she an immortal?" Don't think so.
Nope.
And goes, "Nerd."
You think?
Yes, we are. And he says, "Prepares a lightsaber to end the Trekkie," referring to me. To which I responded, "It's a good thing I'm not a red shirt then."
Phaser to kill.
And then I did the little wink and tongue out emoji. To which Josh would later respond, "Throws red paint on Drew's shirt. Now you are." I hate to tell you this, Josh. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Oh, it's funny.
Josh also said, "I know I have both Scottish and Irish blood, but I'm not sure which clans." Josh says, "If they didn't play Learn to Fly by Foo Fighters, it was a missed opportunity." I wouldn't know because I don't know the song. He then says, "I love stop motion / claymation." We do too.
Yeah.
We need more. We want more of it. He then says, "I never went through a no cartoons phase." In some ways, I didn't either. There was just a thought process in my mind. It's like, I don't need to go watch this movie. It's a kid's movie. And plus, I was 30 minutes away from a movie theater. So, I was still watching Cartoon Network during that time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think there's a point where be like, it's like you drop an interest, but it's more the...
Well, for me, I think it was more, I'm not interested in Western animation.
Yeah.
Because I was getting into anime around that time period.
Right.
Which is an entirely different thing. But I think there was still a part like, oh, cartoons are for kids. I'm a man. I watch anime. I'm sure it's the thought process that went through my head. Josh says, "Not gonna lie, an apple chicken pie might work depending on how you make it."
Very true.
I can see it.
Yeah, definitely see it.
Josh then says, not to mention the false advertisement,
Okay.
in reference to so many of the amounts of debt that she'll be in.
Oh, gotcha.
And then he also says, a good Persh hen. Because we said she was a good person.
Persh.
And here at the very end, despite the fact he should be getting ready, I think, soon for
Retro.
for NES Quest,
Mhm.
Retro says, seriously, that shirt again? Indeed! Team Womp for the win. Moving on. Josh says, I know, El Presidente. We must fight back. You can take our lives, but you'll never take our freedom.
Womp. I'm no skin in this battle, so I'll just.
Retro says, indeed. I think that's going to bring us to the end of this. That was an epic ending.
Yes.
So join us next time for Hotel Transylvania 3.
Yep.
I don't think it's got a subtitle, but in my mind it does.
Vacation?
Summer Vacation? I don't
Something
remember.
like that.
It's the cruise one.
Yeah. Either way, find us on all that social media stuff on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube.
Well, Francisco, by my clock, it's 9:22. You're an hour and a half late. Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
Okay. Hey, something like, hey, we even run late, okay?
Oh, hi, Want Princess. How's it going?
Oh, princess, hi.
Yeah, his daughter.
I gathered as much.
Sorry. Continue.
Yes.
Continue.
So, yes, as he's talking with the chat, thank you guys so much. If you have commentary about Hotel Transylvania 3, comment on Facebook, Instagram, or Facebook, or not Facebook, but Twitter, and let us know what you think. Tag us in that, and we're on all three platforms. Obviously, we are on Twitch as this conversation is going right now. But yes, join us next week as we dive deep into Hotel Transylvania 3. And I cannot help but say it, Hotel Transylvania.
yes, this is the pronunciation. Hotel Transylvania.
Yes.
I do not say blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Anyway,
Yes.
so join us for that.
Yes.
Anything else before we cut out of here?
All I gotta say is, this started playing.
What are you doing watching? Is it Toradora?
Toradora.
Toradora. Why are you watching
I
Toradora?
have no idea.
It's one of those things. I know what it is by looking at it. My mind went blank on the title.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. We will talk at y'all later.
Thanks, guys.